soft. So can you give me an example of what do you mean by a soft equation?
Like soft equations, like find a missing number. Basically, like for example, 4x
Equals.
no 4x plus 8
Yes.
equal 32.
Right.
And basically, you need to do opposites with and
Yes.
find the missing number.
Number, yeah.
Yes.
And so that's algebra.
Oh yeah.
It's algebra. You just spoke about algebra. No, but Paris. But I like the way you described that. So even though I've used the word algebra, your explanation was much more in line with what people want to hear. Algebra is the word, but what you said is really more important. So tell me, how has MathsMakers helped you to improve with your maths, your everyday maths at school and even at home?
MathsMakers make me like more confident about how to do the question.
And to have a go at the question. Yeah, to have a go. And if, for example, you need some help from your mentor, it sounds from what Helena has said, you can turn to your mentor and you can ask your mentor, and they will be able to give you that instant support and feedback. And do you think that's important when it comes to learning maths? The fact that you've got that instant feedback where you don't have to wait for 5 or 10 minutes until the class has calmed down, then the teacher asks you. But it sounds like with MathsMakers, you're able to have that instant feedback and support. Yeah.
I feel like MathsMakers are very smart because they not only use like one teacher to teach all of the people in one class. They use one by one mentor to like teach us.
Yeah.
And like sometimes we can increase our knowledge.
Of course.
And also like, our mentor is also like teenagers and they also can revise.
Wow. Okay, Paris, do you know what you just said? I was working with some teachers the other day, and what you just said is so important. The fact that your mentors are closer to your age, that gives you a lot more confidence and trust with them as well. So I like that. I like what you've just said. Now, Helena mentioned earlier about having a teacher here. So I'm going to invite one of the teachers. So you want to, yeah, that's it. So as I said, on the math show today, this is going to be really exciting because we've got Helena, who is one of the co-founders of MathsMakers. We've had Paris, and then Paris's mum, if there's time, is going to come and say a few words. And then we've got Natalia, who I've been working with when she first arrived at the studio. And I feel that Natalia is ready to come and just talk about MathsMakers. And then we've got Nicola, who is one of MathsMakers' mentors. And this is what Paris was saying, the fact that Nicola is close in age to Paris. And that gives Paris a sense of, I can communicate with Nicola, I can engage with Nicola, and I can learn from Nicola. But I've got someone really important in front of me. So good evening. Can you tell everyone your name, please?
Yes, good evening. Hi, I'm Vishal. I'm one of the maths teachers on the program, so called the maths instructor.
Okay. And so Vishal, what is your main role in MathsMakers?
So I help running of 2 programs at the moment, an online program and also an in-person program. So it's my job to make sure the students are learning. I'll be at the front of the classroom in the in-person program, making sure that the students are getting the information that they need from a lesson, and then the mentors are then able to provide extra support where needed.
Wow. So you plan the topic and you plan the content, you
correct.
Deliver it, and then if the student needs any support, then obviously you offer the support.
Exactly.
And then in the classroom, are the students grouped by year group or age, or how does that?
Yes, that's a good question. So in the classroom, they are grouped by their year group. So on the whole, they are mostly in the same year group.
Okay.
And then we group them based on ability as well.
Okay.
Based on where they're sat.
Okay.
And then as the teaching takes place at the front of the room by myself, we're able to provide the support and go and help when required.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you, Vishal, do you have a particular favorite topic in maths that you find? Because with me, my favorite topic is fractions. If you ask anyone who knows me, my favorite topic is fractions. I can teach fractions for one whole week if you give me the opportunity.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, because when Helena told me about you coming in,
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to fellow maths teachers as well.
So I definitely do have a favorite topic. It's definitely solving equations.
Ooh,
So
okay.
including factorization. So I heard we were speaking just there about solving some equations, which got me very excited.
Yeah.
So in particular, factorizing quadratics is a favorite of mine, and there's a method that I have that helps with a lot of the students. The students haven't seen before.
Do you know, I've got a whiteboard.
I'll definitely be showing you.
But it just depends on the time, Vishal.
Yeah.
Right. You mentioned quadratics. What about simultaneous?
Yeah, I definitely like simultaneous. I find simultaneous is a very interesting topic because of the crossover between foundation students and higher students.
Yeah.
So solving linear equations, the methodology used is beneficial to the foundation students as it comes up in the foundation paper. It's one of those crossover topics. And then solving simultaneous equations with a quadratic, which is what I'm getting excited about right now, thinking about. And that's one of the higher topics. And you're looking at like grade 8, grade 9 level of questions for those.
Wow. So Vishal, so when a young person comes into MathsMakers, sometimes they might be shy and quiet. How do you get them to engage with you, and how do you get them to engage with the maths that you are delivering?
I think it's really important that they engage with the instructors first and foremost.
Yes.
And they can see that we're a real person right in front of them most of the time. And even on the online sessions, introducing yourself, letting them know, getting a feel for who they are as a person.
Sure.
It's not always just let's dive into the maths. It's getting to know who they are as a person. And I think MathsMakers provides that opportunity for them to speak. Sometimes it may not necessarily be about the maths.
Sure.
And then we dive straight into the maths. And I think what I've heard from feedback from students is what they really enjoy about my sessions in particular is they get a feel for the love and passion that I have for maths.
Oh, that's it. That's it. You've mentioned it. The love and the passion. And I can see that already, Vishal. I can feel, I can see it. And even when Paris was talking about algebra, about solving equations, I saw your eyes were your eyes lit up.
Yeah,
and that made me quite excited to get you to the chair as well.
Yeah.
So
I think it's really important that the students buy into what their teacher really loves. And if I wasn't showing that or enthused about the subject that I'm passionate about, then they're never going to get on board. So
Helena, what I'm seeing from MathsMakers already is that the way that you've created the team, the team are approachable.
Fantastic.
And that, as we know, that is the biggest hurdle sometimes. Because our young people, they will say to me, "Oh, I can't talk to my teacher. My teacher hasn't got any time for me." But when Vishal came into the studio, straight away the two students were talking. You could see that communication, and I think that's important.
Oh, it's absolutely crucial. Yes, and I think Vishal obviously loves maths, and we all love maths and MathsMakers. But that doesn't mean we haven't struggled with maths ourselves.
Of course.
And I think that's also very good for students to hear and see.
Yes.
So then we're able to appreciate and empathize with. They may not love fractions even if you do. And so that's important that we've been there. It's also worth saying that we do have a high percentage of students with special educational needs, English as an additional language, young carers, and so on. Students with extra little challenges. And the good thing about our MathsMakers instructors is that, again, many of them have their own additional needs. They have, struggled with their own, maybe they're autistic or they have whatever needs. So we're not an organization with a specialism in SEND support, but we're always doing training within the organization where we have that lived experience for some of the instructors. So
now you've mentioned the instructors, and I know that we've got a mentor and I think her name is Nicola. Nicola, can I invite you? Can I invite you to come and say a few words? So, good evening, Nicola. Good evening, Nicola. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Nicola, can you tell me what is your role in MathsMakers?
So I'm there to essentially go through like some questions with my mentee, which is Natalia.
Mhm.
And usually I'm there to teach her like the way you do it, because some of the issues that the mentees have is like a lack of foundational knowledge. So sometimes they might be struggling with like fractions or simplifying fractions.
Yes.
So I go through that first, and then they realize, oh, I can actually do this question.
Right.
I just didn't know that little bit to do.
Right. And you're in year 12 yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And Nicola, when you came into the studio, and when Natalia, when you both were sitting there and talking, I could see that there was a strong bond between the two of you. Okay. Now, what I'm interested in is that you're very close in age to each other.
Yeah.
How do you find that closeness of age when you're actually teaching? Because sometimes, as teachers, as Helena will say, we have to have that element of, you know, this is the student and I'm the teacher, and we have to deliver. But what I saw from you and Natalia is that there was a lovely interaction going on. And how do you manage that interaction?
Yeah, I guess it's different because we're closer in age.
Yeah.
I treat her more like a peer than someone that I have to.
Perfect, absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I treat her more as someone that like is a classmate of mine instead
Yeah.
of someone that I'm tutoring.
Okay.
Because it's more like not like we're friends, but like we're comfortable with each other.
Perfect.
Especially because like I've had the same struggles as her in maths.
Okay.
I wasn't always good at maths.
Okay.
And I hope that she.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And how did you become involved with MathsMakers? How did you hear about MathsMakers?
So my school sent an outreach email to us, and I decided to sign up for it because I thought it would be good for myself. Because I do A-level maths, but I think that.
Oh my gosh! I need to show with you on your own. Now that you've told me A-level maths, I think Vishal, Nicola, and Isaac, we need to have our own show, because I can tell already that Vishal with his maths, because he wants to do some maths anyway. But what you've just said, A-level maths, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
I think I'm so used to having a calculator with me that I think having like just a touch up on those basics of even fractions, just adding and dividing, and doing everything by hand.
Sure.
It's fun. I
Yeah.
enjoy it.
And Nicola, you mentioned the fact that sometimes some of the young students, the mentees who you work with, it's the foundation. They've missed some foundation work. And don't forget, we had the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so the present year 9s and 10s, they were the ones who data has shown the most impact. They suffered the most impact from it because they weren't in school. So it sounds like what you're doing, not only are you closing the gaps, not only are you giving the students that confidence, but you're moving them on. And that's so important, Nicola. That's so important.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of like it's enrichment for me, really. Because
Sure.
I really do love maths. I'm a bit not a fanatic, but I really just.
No, listen. There's nothing wrong with. I said there's nothing wrong with saying I'm a fanatic of maths as well, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that at all. Nicola, I want to bring in Natalia, who's your mentee. Yeah. So Natalia is going to come into the hot chair. Good evening, Natalia. Move closer. Yeah, that's it. So Natalia, you've heard Helena speaking, you've heard Sersia speaking, and you've heard Nicola speaking. So Natalia, tell me about MathsMakers. How has MathsMakers helped you with your maths? Do you feel more confident? Yeah. And when you've been to MathsMakers and you go back into your normal everyday classroom, full-time classroom, the work that you're doing with Nicola, how has that supported you with your overall learning?
Just make the classes I do in school a bit easier.
Perfect. Now, Natalia, you see, without me directing you, because you feel it, because Nicola has been helping and supporting you, that's why you've made that comment. And to be honest with you, that's a really, really lovely comment to hear from a young person to a mentor. Now, both you and Nicola, you're very close in age, aren't you? How do you feel about that? How do you see Nicola?
It just makes learning a bit easier.
Okay. How does it make it easier? Why does it make it easier?
Because
Do you feel that because she's closer to your age, she's going to understand you a bit better, a bit easier, yeah?
she says it in a way that I would understand it.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And that is really important. That's really important, Natalia, yeah? So I'm really glad. And Natalia, when it comes to maths, have you got a favourite topic?
Not really. I like decimals.
You like decimals? Oh, wow. Can I ask you a decimal question? No. Okay. You know the decimal point. You know to the right of the decimal point, you've got a column. Do you know what the name of that column is? Tenths. And what's the next one? After, fantastic. And you know you get your tenths column. What is the tenth as a fraction? What does it look like as a fraction? Fantastic. What is it as a decimal? Take one of the zeros off. 0.1. Yeah, Natalia, listen, you're brilliant. You're brilliant. Now, remember earlier when you first arrived, we were joking about maths and number, yeah? And you were quite quiet. But now you're interacting because I think you have seen that what I'm all about is that it's all about what do you as a young person, what can you do? And that for me is really important. So Natalia, before Nicola goes, is there one thing that you would like to say to Nicola because she's helped you so much?
Thank you, God.
Wow.
You made it fun because I don't enjoy maths sometimes, but going to MathsMakers made me enjoy it.
Oh, do you know what, Natalia? When Nicola comes back with Vishal and me, will you come back as well? And we can do some maths, can't we? No, but okay. So you can help me. You can be my right hand person, and you can help me with the pens and the whiteboard and everything. Yeah, would you like that? Yeah, because Natalia, what you said about Nicola is important because in your everyday class, you haven't got someone like Natalia, like Nicola, who you can look at and who you can call upon instantly. But what I'm hearing from Helena is that in one in-person class, you've got Nicola next to you. So that means at the point of you not understanding something, Nicola can jump in. Have I got that correct? Yeah. And Nicola, and for me, when it comes to maths, it is about jumping in at that moment and not waiting 10 minutes down the line. And then Natalia will think, oh, I didn't understand it then. It's gone back further, but Nicola went at the right time.
Yeah, I think the fact that I'm right there with her
Yes.
going through those questions, I think it helps build that confidence as well.
Lovely.
Because I think I'm quite a shy person in lessons. I think I don't really put my hand up that much, but I think if I had that person next to me just immediately there so I could ask that question, I think in my opinion, that would make me feel better about myself. So I think her having that would also make her feel more confident about even just asking a question. That's
absolutely amazing. Now I know that Natalia's dad is here, and I wanted to ask Natalia's dad just a couple of questions about about how he has found MathsMakers. So I'm sure, listeners, I'm sure you can hear people are coming into the chair, they're sitting down, they're going back again. We've also got Paris's mum, who is in the studio. So I think Paris's mum's going to come to the studio as well, into the chair. Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. So you're Paris's mum?
Yeah.
And you are Natalia's dad? Okay, good evening. The main question I wanted to ask you both is, what impact have you seen on your children as a consequence of going to MathsMakers?
The confidence in the lessons, I would say, and the easiness to approach new challenges.
Wow. So there's confidence, and mum?
Yeah, same with Paris because sometimes I would do some math exercise with her. And after starting MathsMakers, I can truly feel she has the confidence and the patience to solve every problem.
Wow, and the last part of your sentence, the passion to solve the problem, is having that tenacity. It's not giving up until you have solved it. And when I was talking to your daughter earlier, that's what I saw. So you heard the way I was interacting with Paris and the way I was interacting with Natalia. And what I was doing there was just making them feel relaxed with me, but also I was like assessing how good they are, what can they do. And for me, it's really important that as parents, you help MathsMakers to grow as well. And it comes from you, you know. So if, for example, a parent friend of yours came to you and said, oh, my daughter or my son is struggling with maths, what would you say to them about MathsMakers?
This community truly help the younger people to with a very logic mind and with very patient attitude to solve the problem step by step. Very helpful.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And how did you? And so you heard about MathsMakers through Paris's school.
Yeah.
Wow. And then when you received the email or the leaflet, when you read it, what was going through your mind?
I'm so grateful.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And was it so for you, Dad, as well? How did you find out through school as well?
Yes.
Yeah. And then when you received the leaflet or the information, what made you take that step to enroll your daughter with MathsMakers?
Well, I would say that any help with with maths, especially for someone who doesn't enjoy maths that much, it's really great.
Yeah.
But I would say one of the biggest impacts was that I actually heard her saying Nicola's name, but I didn't know who she was, which I met her today.
Oh wow!
So she talks about her, yeah.
Oh, Dad, you know what? That's absolutely so important. The fact that your daughter came back home and was talking about her mentor, that is magical.
It went a little bit beyond just solving problems.
Of course, and that way, Natalia feels comfortable. She feels confident, and the same with Paris as well.
Yeah, she is so delighted every time after taking the session.
Yes.
Came home, is talking about the relaxed time with the mentors.
Yeah.
How they supported to the problems.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. No, that's lovely. That's lovely. Mum and Dad, mum for Paris and Dad for Natalia. Thank you very much, because I think the listeners, and when I was speaking to Helena about the show, what we want to get across is we want parents to listen to the show, and we want parents to take that next step as well, like you did. And what you've just said about the confidence building and Dad, you said that your daughter came home and was talking about her mentor. That's unusual for a young person in year 8 or year 9 to come home and say, "Oh, my tutor did this, my mentor helped me." That for me shows the impact that MathsMakers is having on your children.
Yeah.
So thank you very much indeed. That's been brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. So I want to get back Vishal. Vishal's going to come back. Now I know that Vishal and I are going to have a bit of fun now, okay? And I've got 2 whiteboards. I've got a whiteboard pen. And Vishal, you said you're going to show me something to do with, is it simultaneous?
So I said I was going to work with some fractions. So not fractions, some expressions and factorizing.
Wow.
So we're going to look at some.
So Vishal, just for the benefit of the listeners, what is factorizing? Am I right in thinking factorizing comes from the word factors?
That's correct. Yeah. So it's finding. So if we look at factors of 2 numbers, for example, so just having a look at 2 factors of the number 6.
Yeah.
So what 2 numbers can multiply to give you the number 6? So that would be, of course, 1 and 6, and of course 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So when it comes to algebra, it's coming up with the same sort of principles. What two things multiply algebraically to give you that number 6?
Sure.
So if we have a look at this example here, which would be
so listeners. So now please carry on. So listeners, what's happening is that Vishal is showing me. So he's writing an expression, and then he's going to explain to me the way that he will solve it. But I think the most important thing that Vishal has said so far is he has explained about factors. What are factors of a number? And on the whiteboard, he's written factor pairs. So he's got like the number 6 at the top, and underneath he's got 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. 1 times 6 equals 6, and 2 times 3 also equals 6 as well. So the factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. So that's something that a young person needs to understand, that factorization comes from the word factors. Vishal, sorry, yeah.
So I've written down x squared plus 5x plus 6, and we're looking for the number in front, which is called the coefficient of x squared, which is a number 1. So we don't normally say 1x squared plus 5x plus 6, but the 1's always there.
Yeah.
So the method is to multiply 1 and 6 together, and that will give you the number 6. And now you're looking for factors, and kindly I picked number 6 because we looked at them earlier.
Yeah.
So what are the factors of 1 and of 6?
Yeah.
And we have the two answers of 1 and 6 and 2 and 3.
Yeah.
What we're then going to do is look at this number in the middle and look which one of those actually adds to give you the number 5.
Ooh.
And we would notice, I hope that listeners can hear, that 2 and 3 give us 5.
Yeah.
So the layout is always like so.
Oh, 2 brackets.
2 brackets divided by the coefficient of x squared, and it would be 2 and 3. And this is your final answer.
Wow. Now, as Vishal was talking, he mentioned coefficient. I mentioned brackets. He mentioned the letter X. He's mentioned factors and factorizing. And the way that Vishal has presented the answer, it made it much more easier to, as he was writing, it made it much more easier to understand. In other words, he made it fun. Because the minute Vishal wrote 6, and then he's got 1 and 6, 2 and 3, the minute Vishal said 1 and 6, 1 times 6 is 6, and then Vishal said, we're looking for 2 numbers from the pair of factors that add together to make 5, and they multiply together to make 6, and it has to be 2 and 3. Wow. So Vishal, that method, that strategy, it can work with any.
It will work with for any numbers all of the time.
Wow.
Which is why it's very versatile.
Right. And why did you put it? Why was 1 the denominator?
Yeah. So 1 was the denominator because if we look at a different example, with 2x.
You see the question that I just asked Vishal. It's now we're going for a deep dive into the explanation, and I can see already where Vishal is going. So Vishal, you've got 2x squared.
So we've got 2x squared plus 5x plus 4.
Yeah.
We'll go with 4 for this example. In fact, actually, sorry, we'll change this to work. Apologies, we'll go for
Okay.
2. So now we're going to go for the same idea.
Yeah.
So we're going to multiply these 2 numbers together.
Yeah.
So that will give us 4. And we're looking for what are our factors of 4
my
that give me
gosh.
5.
Oh my gosh.
So either 1 and 4, or 2 and 2.
Yeah.
And which one of those give us the number 5?
5.
And it'll be 1 and 4. So this time it's 2x because of the 2, 2x. And now we're not dividing by 1 this time, but it will be a 2.
Wow.
And now it'll be 1 goes here, and 4 goes here.
Wow.
And the reason why this 2 is now important for this particular example is because 2x plus 4 can nicely be divided by 2. So your final answer would be 2x plus 1, that stays the same, and that would be x plus 2.
My word. Vishal, I mean, we need to have a show.
Yes. Yeah.
We need to have a visual show because this for me is and if you ask Dean, Dean knows what I'm like about maths, and Vishal, what you've just shown has been just so exciting. And if you were my teacher, I can follow it, and I know that with Paris and Natalia, I know that they will be able to follow this because it makes sense.
Yeah.
the way when you had 4 as the start number, you know, the factors of 4, 1 and 4, 2 and 2. Straight away, I saw the 5 in the middle. It has to be 1 and 4. It can't be 2 and 2. It has to be 1 and 4 because 1 plus 4 equals 5. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I want to bring back Helena into the comments. Thank you for sharing.
No worries.
That's amazing. So Helena, what I'm getting from MathsMakers, now this could be a call. Hello, good evening. Can I help you?
Hi, it's Dia from Edmonton County.
Okay, Dia.
Hi, how are you?
I'll get back to you shortly. Okay. I'm just on my show. No problem. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, Helena. What I'm getting from MathsMakers is the fact. Oh, someone sent me a comment about maths. Is the fact that you've got your teachers like Vishal, who is able to put across quite a challenging, difficult topic in a friendly way, easy to understand and read.
Yes.
So that means all of the students who you are working with, they're going to get such good, high quality teaching from this.
Yeah.
How did you find Vishal?
Well, we advertise for our instructors, and I think, and we also get some instructors through word of mouth from our existing team.
Right.
I think our instructors do value being part of a close-knit team, and the kind of friendly environment, the flexibility. Like for the online programs, they run in the evenings and during the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. Vishal's teaching some of our programs on Sundays. Okay. So in addition to his daytime maths teaching job, he can also do some work with MathsMakers. Wow. And then our in-person instructors are very experienced maths tutors who are not teaching in school because they want a lot of flexibility or they have different kinds of jobs.
Yes.
So they like having that kind of flexibility. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So would I be good for MathsMakers?
I think so.
Oh,
yes.
You think? Okay. So I've got a job then. That's good.
Yeah.
So Helena, can you tell me how can somebody get in contact? So if it's a school, can you explain the process? How does a school get in contact with MathsMakers? And what are you doing to promote MathsMakers out there?
Right. So, well, we have a website, of course, and my name is on the website, Helena Mullins, and contact number, contact email. That's the easiest thing. It would be to say just go to the website, all the contact information.
And you must give us the website in a minute.
Yeah. So it's mathsmakers.org.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then, of course, we do email out our brochures on a regular basis to schools. We're a member of Young Brent Foundation.
Oh, YBSOE.
Yeah,
oh, wow.
And so we provide information on our programs through the Young Brent Foundation website.
Brilliant. We
work in Harrow and Barnet and other boroughs as well, so we're members of all those Young Barnet Foundation, Young Harrow Foundation, etc. We do our little bit on social media.
Fantastic.
Yes, and I mean, the schools we're working with right now, they do put us in contact with some other schools.
Oh, brilliant.
And I
so they value the work that you're doing, obviously, because head teachers have to be really careful about who they promote as well.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've got one school who are passing your information on to another school, that just shows me the value and the worth of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
And of course, we have different kinds of programs. Like at the moment, we're approaching the SATs exams for the year sixes. We're not far off the GCSE exams.
No,
so we have that focus on preparation for those exams. With Easter programs coming up, we have term time programs with the focus on revision.
Yeah.
But as Nicola was saying, some students need their foundation skills and knowledge built up. Sure. So we have programs specifically focusing on that, not just all the focus on exams the whole time.
Okay. Once the school gets in contact with you, what's the next step?
Well, we have a conversation with the school to understand what exactly they're looking for.
Okay.
We can tailor the program around topics that they're identifying.
Oh.
We can obviously tailor for a particular year group.
Okay. And the year groups is year 5 to
year 11.
Yeah.
We can do year 12 GCSE resets as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. With our community organizations, we sometimes have a few students from a few different year groups coming together.
Okay.
So yes, it's about finding out what the school really needs. Our programs are 12 weeks. It's not very long. So we have to make sure we get the maximum value out of those programs for the students, for the schools.
And for the parents as well.
And for the parents,
yes,
obviously. We offer some pilot programs. All our programs are subsidized through our own fundraising.
Wow.
So we're very conscious of the fact that schools have tremendous pressure on financial front.
Yes.
So we do our best to make the programs affordable for schools and community organizations.
So after the 12 weeks, if you feel that a student needs more time, what can you do for that student? Or do they have to finish and then they go on and move on?
It's mostly up to the school to decide if they want to offer some students another batch of 10, 12 weeks.
Okay.
And that does happen for some of our students.
Yeah.
Or the school just might rotate it to a new set of students.
Okay.
Of course, we track how our students are getting on throughout the program.
Yes.
We have our baseline quizzes and then maybe midterm and then at the end.
Yeah.
So we're able to communicate all that to the school where we see the impact, where we see that maybe a little more support would make a big difference.
Wow. So thinking about pupil voice, clearly it was obvious that Nicola and Natalia, they've got a relationship of trust and support. After the 12 weeks, if Natalia would say to you, oh Helena, I need some more time with Nicola. I'm getting on. You will then approach the school. And
yes, we would share that information with the school. If we obviously always give opportunities to our students and our mentors to give us feedback.
Right.
And we're in very good communication, I believe, with our parents.
Yes.
We reach out the whole time.
100%.
So any feedback we get from students, mentors, parents, and obviously our instructors, we share that with the school, with our thoughts on what might work best forward.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Helena, we're coming to the end of the show, and also I've been asked by a couple of year 10 students. They want to know about circle theorems.
Okay.
So I promised them. I said to them that MathsMakers MathsMakers are the guests, but I also want to just give some feedback to some of these year 10s to do with the cyclic quadrilaterals.
Yes.
And so I'm going to do that. But before we finish with MathsMakers, is there anything else that you want to say to the listeners? But I'm more interested in the fact that it would be great to have MathsMakers more around in Brent.
And we would really like that as well. We've worked with a few schools in Brent. We're working with young carers in Harrow and Barnet, and we're really keen to work with young carers in Brent.
Right.
So
I've got contact with young carers in Brent.
We're very keen to have more of a presence, and we're attending the Young Brent Foundation network meetings, obviously.
Yeah.
So we'd love to hear from schools. Just go straight to our website. You'll find all the contact information there.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from Brent carers or any other community organizations.
Fantastic.
I guess the other little thing I would say, Isaac, is that the mentors do a fantastic job in
100%.
helping the students they work with. The mentors themselves also get a huge amount out of it, as you can imagine.
Of course.
Yeah, we do run some pre-program training, and we guide them each week. You know, instructors like Vishal would have a little debrief at the end of the session, what worked well, little tips on using open-ended questions, etc.
Manipulatives and all of that.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then the mentors develop the communication skills, employability skills.
Yeah.
We write reference letters for
Oh
them.
my gosh. I mean, Nicola was here. Nicola was here earlier, and Nicola said herself that, you know, through what she's doing with Natalia, she has seen herself grow as well.
Yeah.
And if I was an employer and Nicola came to me and I can see that she's been part of MathsMakers, and obviously in your reference in your report, you're gonna really sort of showcase how good she is. I'm gonna take her on board straight away.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I like the fact that you said that, you know, we're not forgetting the mentors, but the role of the mentor is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And that came through from Natalia and it came through from Paris as well.
That's right.
So can I just say, Helena, thank you very much for getting in contact with Talking Community Radio in the first place, because when I got your contact, I went to the website, I read up a little bit about MathsMakers, so I wanted to be able to sort of talk to you about MathsMakers. And now over the weeks and months, we've become quite close. We've been talking and emailing, and I'm glad that you've come into the studio, and I'm glad that Vishal was here, Natalia was here, Paris was here, and Nicola was here, and then we've got Paris's mum, and then we've got Natalia's dad, and everyone has had the chance. Everyone has had the chance to sort of sit in the chair and to say something as well, which has been absolutely amazing.
Well, thank you very much.
I want to invite Natalia and Paris back to the chair, so that when I'm doing the circle theorems, I just want them to listen.
Yeah.
And then if they want to just jump in and say anything, I think that'd be quite nice. Yeah. So Paris and
thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Right. Okay. So why don't we come and sit here? That's it. That's it. Yeah. Don't worry. That's it. That's okay. Make sure you're close to the mic. Okay. Well done. Right. So as I said, someone in year 10, and I know you're not in year 10, but someone in year 10 has asked me to speak very briefly about cyclic quadrilaterals. Okay. Right. So I'm going to explain it. But as I'm explaining, if you want to ask me a question or if you want to offer something, I brought you here so that I'm giving you the opportunity, because I know that you're both, I mean, the way that you've changed from the first minute when you were downstairs to now, Natalia, your confidence has just grown. And I know that Nicola's got a big impact on that. But the fact that you've got Paris here as well, I think that's the communication and the interaction that's going on. So we've got what we call in maths circle theorems. And circle theorems, they explain the way shapes work within a circle, okay? And one of them is this. So I'm going to draw a circle. And what is a quadrilateral? What's a quadrilateral? Do you know? How many sides are there on a quadrilateral? Well done, well done. So it's 4, okay? Now with a cyclic quadrilateral, I'm going to draw one here. What do you notice about my quadrilateral? What do you notice about the quadrilateral?
It has the same space left.
Okay. What else?
X.
What do we call these corners in maths? The letter V. Vertices. Well done. How can you describe the vertices with the circumference of the circle? Are they touching? They're all touching, aren't they? So a cyclic quadrilateral, the 4 vertices must be touching the circumference. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing, yeah? Now the best bit of it is, if I call this angle A, B, C, and D, opposite angles must add up to 180 degrees.
Mm-hmm. It was like triangle.
There we go. So if I say to you both that angle A, if I say to you both that angle A was 70 degrees, what would angle D have to equal? Because remember, this plus this angle must add up to 180. 110. Now, what do you know about angles in a quadrilateral? All of the angles in a quadrilateral add up to how many degrees? Brilliant. So if I now said, so Natalia, this question is for you. So Natalia, if I said to you now that this angle was 120 degrees, what would this one have to be?
60.
Good. Why does it have to be 60? Correct. Why?
Because 120 plus 60 is 180.
Perfect. Natalia, Paris, I can't say more than thank you. You've been absolutely brilliant. I really hope you've enjoyed coming into the studio. I hope that you've enjoyed the snacks that we put on outside for you, okay? But more importantly, I'm going to ask Helena that I would love to have you back in the studio again, yeah, with Vishal, and maybe we could have an interactive lesson where Dean, who does all the media work, Dean can set up a screen for us, and we can be writing on it, and Vishal and we can be working with you and teaching you. And then Nicola can be here. So is Nicola your mentor as well? You have somebody else?
Yeah,
Sophia, okay. And so what Natalia was saying about Nicola, you're saying the same thing about Sophia as well?
Yes.
Yeah? You got on really well with her?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And you're similar in ages as well?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much. So Paris and Natalia, thank you very much for coming into the studio. It's been a great interview, and I look forward to seeing you again in the near future, okay?
Yeah.
So thanks a million. Thank you very much indeed, girls. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
No, thank you. It's been brilliant. It's been brilliant. So we're coming to the end of the math show, and as you can see, and as you can hear, and as you can feel, the math show. Not only do I teach maths on the radio each week, but we have teachers calling in, teachers who maybe they've got an observation, which means that the head teacher or the maths lead is going to come into the classroom and watch the teacher deliver and present a lesson. And they're ringing to me and say, oh, Mr. Numbervator, I'm doing my lesson on percentages. I need a really good, exciting beginning start to the lesson. I give them advice. We have parents calling in who want to know, how can I help my child at home when it comes to mathematics? So the show is all about maths. And then today we've had Helena, who's come in to speak about MathsMakers. And Helena has said that, please, if you want to get in contact with them, it's mathsmakers.org. Okay, so just tap in. I did it earlier, about 2 months ago. Mathsmakers.org. MathsMakers is MathsMakers. Mathsmakers.org, and all the information is on there. We want MathsMakers in all of we want them in as many Brent secondary schools as possible. And remember, it's from year 5. So that means it's the last 2 years of primary school, and it crosses over to Key Stage 3, and then it goes as far as Key Stage 4. So thank you, Helena, for coming into the studio. Thank you, Vishal. I must get all the names right. Thank you, Vishal. Thank you, Paris, and thank you, Paris's mum, and thank you, Natalia, and thank you, Natalia's dad, and thank you, Nicola, who is the mentor to Natalia. Yeah, so it's been a really, really exciting math show this evening. I look forward to seeing you all again next week. I'm going to keep the board that Vishal gave me the example of the equations, because it really, truly is. It's an exciting way to learn. And now I understand what makes MathsMakers. It's because you've got that top quality, you've got the top quality tuition going on. You've got the top quality mentors who are supporting and guiding, and they are there for the young student. They are there. You heard both of the girls talking about their mentors. They're talking about their mentors with pride. And that is what I was asking Helena earlier. How did she do that? How did she create that positive atmosphere in MathsMakers? Well, what you can do is you can contact MathsMakers, and then you can find out about how your child's school can get involved. If you need to get through to Chalker Community Radio, I can always direct you and signpost you back to MathsMakers. But it's been a great evening, a great interview. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to Dean. And I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Have a great evening, a great weekend. Thank you, and see you again soon. Bye-bye.